Where's your milk white skin? What's that stubble on your chin? Buried in the rock gut gin, you played and lost, not won. You played a house that can't be beat. Now look, your head's bowed in defeat. You walk too far along the street where only rats can run.
Let's hope we're not running like rats, folks, and let's hope our heads aren't bowed in defeat. That was the Days of Pearly Spencer. I was going to say recommended to us. I think we had a bit of a heckler. Mr. Pride, oh boy. Bandit always wins. But no, I did like the song actually. Hope we don't go down that path. But I think I get what he was trying to say. We're playing a house that where you can't win. You think you've won, but really you've lost. Well, I think proof of the pudding, Mr. Prido, however we pronounce you. We did lose last year. There was about 10 grand on, and we won 7.5. Fortunately for the Bandit, the 10 grand was free bets. So yeah, if it was cash, you'd have lost. But even if it was cash, it was so close to a 30 or 40. Anyway, it isn't cash; it's free bets. But yeah, we thought we'd use that. I might use it again at some point, especially if we win. We won't be hanging our heads in defeat, that's for sure. This is going to be a bit of a serious episode, actually, this. Got a little bit mad with me emojis, as you can tell. I've been emojied. There we go. What we're going to do, rejuvenated after the Pearly Spencer. The guys at Let's Talk Racing give the Bandit a bit of a shout out on one of the comments. If you're listening, guys, thanks for listening. We're near the 200 subscriber mark, actually. But this is going to be a serious episode because I know we have a bit of a laugh along the way, but we do have these, if you've watched all the episode, we have these serious notes about the races, which get a bit more serious as you get closer, because you know if something's running a grade 1 last time out, because that's what some of the notes are, etc, etc. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about 5 horses to not follow, if you like, but not follow as much, because I have backed all these 5 horses, but I've not got as much on, and I won't be putting any more on them. So 5 to sort of ease off on, not follow, whatever you want to call it. 5 to follow, pretty obvious, most of them if you watch the show. And then there's a wild card, courtesy Mr. Brown. I think Mr. Brown was heckling us as well, but we've now got a tip out of him, but that's what it's all about, you know. We make mistakes. Just to correct, I did make a mistake. We haven't backed Let It Rain for the Meuse hurdle. We have backed it for the Meuse novice hurdle. It is unscripted. It's one take. We don't do 500 takes, as you'll probably realise sometimes when we're sneezing and coughing and all sorts. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to talk about these 5 to avoid. Now, the first one, I have backed it, and sometimes you forget your own notes, you get carried away in the system. I'll be on to the big bandit telling him not to back this anymore. But the first one is Redemption Day. Lost money on it every year for the last 3 or 4 years, Antipost. Keep putting it in. Never even gone over an hurdle, this thing. 90% of the winners of the Supreme are aged 5 to 6 in 11 of the last 12. So Redemption Day, 8. I'm not having it. It's not going in any more bets. So that is in the, as Smokey C says, the recycling bin. Now, the next horse might surprise a few. This will divide opinion, this. But Cheltenham does this to a lot of horses. And sometimes you've got to spot the trend. There's always that horse what's really good, but it can't do Cheltenham. I think, well, there's a couple I'm going to give out here. I think John Bond's one of those horses, even though it's not in this list what I'm giving. But this horse is Brighter Days Ahead. Came second last year to Golden Ace in the Meuse Novice, but it struggled up the hill at the end. I think this is going to be an horse where you look back in another 2 or 3 races times at Cheltenham, and it's never won a race at Cheltenham, and it's one of them what people say, oh, Cheltenham's not its track. So I'm going to put Brighter Days Ahead in on the basis that it struggled up the hill last time. It's only ran at Cheltenham once, but I think it could be that horse where people say. So I think it's currently the favourite for the Meuse Hurdle as well in the Antipolo. So first horse Redemption Day, Second horse, Brighter Days Ahead. The third horse, and again I got carried away on this, not too much, but it might run a different race, but a few people I've heard, and I know I have put Masbury in a few bets for the Browns. It's only a 4-year-old, I think it might be 5 when the festival comes. But when we remind ourselves of our notes, on the wrong tab, for the Browns, where is it? 15 of the last 18 were 7-year-olds. This thing's a bloody 4-year-old, you know, so it's up there in the betting for the Browns, and I think it's 10-1 now. So that's being recycled, being crossed off. There's 6, because I think John Bon is one actually to avoid. I don't think Cheltenham. I'm going to give 6 now. John Bon's in there as well. No more money's going on John Bon. So we're with the Brighter Days Ahead, Redemption Day, Measure John Bon. Number 5 is going to be Elite Tomp. Although I've won a lot of money on this horse, don't think Cheltenham's its best track. So Elite. And was there another reason for the Ryanair with Elite? I don't know if there was. There might have been. Yeah, 6-year-old. And last 31 as well, been aged 7 between 7 and 9. So Elite Tomp is out, scratched off. And the 6th horse, which might not even go to Cheltenham, which is why it's in here. Well, the only reason it's in here. I don't think Il Francais, the French horse, is going to go to Cheltenham. So those are my 6. I need to learn myself because I've backed these. The 1 out of the 6, because you'll do these things and there'll always be, I'm sure someone will remind you when it wins. One will bite you in the arse. I think the one what could bite us in the arse will be Brighter Days Ahead. But I'm going to take that risk. Out of the 6, that's the only one I might still have a few bets on. Contradicting itself, this, but it's free. I do bet with the bookies, you want to remember. So I know we're being quoted about Pearly Spencer and what have you, but we play a different game to most. And let's face it, it is a game. So there you go. Now, before we get on to the mystery horse, the 5 to follow, mystery horse and a yank I'm going to show as well, and each way yank I'm going to show on that I've just done. 5 to follow, you've heard me long enough. I still think Constitution Hill at 2-1, wow. It's going to be 5-1 on. If he comes back and he's, 80% of what he were, even. So Connell at the minute, I'm on it, all over it, get on it. Gaelic Warrior. I know there's a few people still saying Ryanair. I said Ryanair on my first ever anti-post video because we heard Willie say it on the TV interview on ITV. So I have got a bit on for the Ryanair, but I'm definitely thinking the 2-mile champion chase. So Connell, Gaelic Warrior, Dupu, Galloping. Those are the 4 knock-ins. But I think the 5th is Protectorate. I know that'll divide opinion. That it won't do it again, but I think it could. Ran in the Gold Cup when it were very young, this horse. So it's tons of ability it's always had. Yeah, never me 5 anyway. Now the mystery horse came courtesy of Mr. Brown. He gave us one. I like putting a mystery horse in. Obviously it's come from somewhere. Don't know very much about it, Mr. Brown. The research hasn't been done to your degree, so if you can enlighten us in the comments. But this is obviously French. Another reason it's gone in a bit is Armald's French, Let's have a look at this race. I mean, there might be other information that people know about this horse, but it was a conditions race, to heavy on the turf. Okay, so what's that done since? Might be a bit too slow with the internet. Alright, while we're waiting for that, if it does load. So yeah, the each way yank. I've obviously put Mr. Brown's horse in, 25-1 for the Gallaghers. So he's given it us for the Gallaghers, this kill game. I might not have said the Gallaghers. Ginny's Destiny, I think's good each way odds at 12-1. And going off my rules, Ginny's Destiny fits in that age bracket. So we'll obviously top this up as we get close to the time. And the reason I've put Ginny's in, not Protector, I've got Protector in absolute load, and Ginny's I've not got in it a lot. So, Kilgame Gallagher, Ginny's Ryanair, Calaconte, which I spoke about on the last show for the Mears Hurdle. That's what got me confused, Mr. Brown, with the Let It Rain. I was Calaconte on the Mears Hurdle, and I had the tab open on the web browser. So yeah, Calaconte Mears Hurdle. I'd heard that on someone's show. I can't remember who I'd heard it on, but it's gone in. It's in the book. Now, who were talking about this? I think might have been the Let's Talk Racing lads. I think it was. No, it weren't. It might have been Smoking Cheltenham. I think it was him. It was Smoking Steve, saying how consistent the thing runs, come second a lot. It was. And he mentioned it for the Champion Chase, could still stick to 2 mile. I have got this in a few each way bets for the Ryanair already, so I've just put that in. At 40s, if something happens to the horses leading the betting, Gordon might fancy this for the Champion Chase, put it in. So there's an each way Yankee there, obviously massive returns on the Yank. There's a little each way 4-4 as well, massive returns again. But it's got on. So yeah, a bit more of a serious episode than normal. Like I said, for anyone who's only just tuning in now, these notes, you can listen back to the old episodes. The notes are there. Can't really fill them up yet because a lot of the races aren't out. You don't know what's running in what. There's a few where you can, and you can sort of say to yourself, although I've done it, I've still backed it. Why? Although I've done it, I've still put some Margeborough for the Browns, even though it's 4. My stats are telling me it's not the right thing to do. But I suppose I'm preaching and I still do silly things because you when you bet as much as me, you just do sometimes. But yeah, the notes are there. You can listen back to previous episodes. We will get more into these notes as we go. But there we go. We've got, with our emojis, £5,670, 36 pence on the nose with the bookies boards. As always, spread bet responsibly with the Cheltenham Bandit.